Yeah, that's the Craze in the house, and you know there's no doubt. So beat the flow. Here we go. I picked up the books that I like to read. My fans all know me as Mr. Crazy. I'm here to represent the entire indie crew. Each and every week I'll come back here to do Sam the Crazy Man and Mr. Medina, giving you a new show without all repeating. So what did you read? What did you get today? The latest scoop right here on Catch That Craze. Catch the Craze. Catch the Craze. On these shows which gives you weekly updates, baby. Check it out.
Hi there, welcome to the comic show. Today we're going to be talking about Alf. Psych! Actually, we're going to be talking about an alien life form, but not Alf. We're going to be talking about Duty. This little bugger here, near and dear to my heart. He is the star of the series that I created, There's Nearly in My Toilet. Duty, as well as some other characters that I've created under the Crazy Comics world. And the reason why I chose this topic this week is because every time I'm at a convention, or when I run into people at comic stores, or just through the forums or through email, I'm always asked, how did I come up with these characters? What was my thought process? How long does it take me to draw a book? Things like that. So we're going to do this in segments, and in this segment we're going to be talking about basically character designs. And the character designs are for books like Forbidden, which is a fantasy series that I've created. I'm not actually drawing this series. I actually have an artist drawing it, but I came up with the story and I actually illustrated the character designs and all that, and I actually did this cover here. And we'll also be talking about Cosmic Wars, some of the characters in Cosmic Wars, like the main character, Cosmic Dwarf, and I'll give a demonstration of the character designs and how I whip the characters together. And also, There's Nearly in My Toilet, which is Duty. He is the character, the star of There's Nearly in My Toilet. So, just to give you a little introduction of who I am, if this is the first time you're tuning into the comic show, my name is Samuel, and I am the founder and creator of Crazy Comics, and was derived from Crazy Skills Productions many years ago when I was in the music industry, and I was a co-owner of a production company called Crazy Skills Productions. So that's where Crazy Comics came from, and I handle a lot of things behind the scenes at Crazy Comics, from money management to conventions, promotions, public relations, marketing, all that stuff. And I have a great group of guys that work with me under the Crazy Comics banner. So without further ado, I'm not going to bore you anymore. Let's get into some of the character designs. And what you're going to see here, and I'll narrate the whole bit on how I whip up some of the character designs. And this is part one. Part two, we'll go into backdrop and the stories and scripts and converting scripts to life, coming up with the actual art based on the stories. So, let's take a journey.
Okay, one of the characters we're going to start off with is Duty. He is the star of There's Nearly in My Toilet, which I created about 1.5 years ago. Wow, I can't believe time goes by so fast. Anyway, I'm using a B pencil, and it's a heavier lead, and the reason why I'm using it is that you can pick it up better on screen, which at least I hope so. And I'm going to flesh it out right now. I'm just thumbnailing and just playing with it and just getting the feel, getting the groove on, getting my the kinks working, and the joints working, and the blood rushing to the creative zone. And then I'll use a Sharpie to flesh them out, to darken it so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. So, and this is a common practice I do before I start illustrating the actual comic book, the page layouts, because I just like to work out the kinks and just get a feel for what I'm going to do. So this way, as I start tackling the pages, it's a lot more, smoother. It's a smoother transition. So anyway, the story behind Duty is, the guys from Crazy Comics were at a convention, the Big Apple Comic Con, hosted by Michael Carbonero, and a newspaper publication came up to the guys and said, hey, look, we're looking for a sci-fi comic strip for our newspaper. And so the guys told me about it, so we were driving through Lincoln Tunnel, and bam, I got hit with that inspiration. And we stopped at IHOP to eat, and I said, look guys, this is it. There's an alien in my toilet. And they got up, walked out, came back, sat down, and I pitched the entire concept to them. We laughed for like an hour talking about it, and I designed the character designs on a table mat, and I kept the table mat from IHOP. And it was one of those throwaways, so it's not like I owe them anything. And so, and hence the birth of Duty. So right now what you see here is Duty in the mature state, like, a young adult, because Duty does grow up like all of us, and, in Duty's adventures, he's a little kid, and in There's an Alien in My Toilet, he's, a teenager, and in Hi, I'm Duty from Uranus, he's a young adult, and so this is his young adult stage. And the great thing about Duty is I could put him in all types of costumes and poses, and he just blends well, and he's just one of these characters that I just love to draw. I guess it's like, Charlie Brown for Charles Schultz. It's one of those characters that's near dear to me, and I just have fun drawing. It doesn't feel like work when I'm illustrating Duty. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm also going to demonstrate another character pose for Duty. I told you I can put him in all types of poses and shapes and everything. So here I'm penciling a Duty in a cowboy uniform. And, so what I normally do is I start with the head. I always start with the head. And Duty's a bunch of shapes. He's circles, egg-shaped head, and a round belly, and cylinders for arms, just long, skinny arms, and he only has 3 fingers. So I start with the head and work around it. And when I'm penciling, I basically flesh it out pretty quickly. As you can see here, I'm already working my way down towards the waist. And that's only because I'm fleshing it out. When I'm actually illustrating a storyboard or an actual comic page, because you use panels, and I don't actually draw the lines first. I just illustrate the storyboard, the page, and I allow my colorist, George Medina, to go in and create the lines and the space, the borders. I don't do that. I just let it flow. It's like a collage. When I illustrate a page, it's just like a Picasso. And so anyway, since the dawning of Duty, we've had some great feedback from it, and we have quite a big loyal fan base, and we always get hit with all these questions. So right now I'm using a pilot, and I'm just going to start inking in, and then as you can see, there's no real detail as far as I'm not going to put with Duty. It's simple line drawing. There's no big dark shaded areas or anything like that, and I don't get all technical like you would find in a more like a Spider-Man comic book. When you look at a Spider-Man comic book, there's so much going on. Every little thing has to be perfectly illustrated. With There's an Alien in My Toilet, it's an all ages read, and so everything's just clean, simple lines. If there's a building, I'm not going to draw on every brick and every crack. If it's a ship, I'm not going to go into detail and show spark plugs or exhaust pipes and all that stuff. It's just going to be simple line drawing, and that's the magic about Duty. It's just simple and it's fun, and I can whip out a 24-page book in a couple weeks, and because I'm having so much fun with it. The challenging part when I'm illustrating Duty is the fact that I don't write a script for Duty.